Long ago, deep inside a peaceful forest surrounded by tall pine trees and crystal-clear rivers, lived a young fox named Finn. Unlike the other foxes, Finn believed he was the smartest animal in the entire forest. He loved solving problems on his own and rarely listened to anyone else's advice. Every time the older animals tried to teach him something, he would simply smile and say, "I'll find my own way." One bright spring morning, the forest was filled with the songs of birds and the sweet smell of blooming flowers. As Finn wandered through the woods looking for breakfast, he overheard two squirrels talking excitedly about a hidden field of golden berries growing on the other side of the river. They said the berries were sweeter than honey and only ripened once every year. The moment Finn heard this, his eyes lit up with excitement. Without thinking twice, he dashed through the forest as fast as he could.
He imagined himself eating all the delicious berries, before anyone else even reached them. After several minutes of running, Finn arrived at an old wooden bridge stretching across a wide river. The bridge looked ancient. Some wooden planks were cracked, and the ropes holding it together looked worn after years of heavy rain and strong winds. Near the entrance of the bridge, an old beaver was carefully replacing broken wooden boards with fresh ones. He wiped the sweat from his forehead, and noticed Finn approaching with great speed. "My young friend," the beaver called gently, "please stop for a moment. Last night's storm damaged this bridge. I'm repairing it now, but it isn't safe to cross yet. If you wait a little longer, I'll make sure everyone can cross safely." Finn looked at the bridge from a distance. Although it appeared old, it was still standing. He folded his arms confidently and laughed. "You're worrying too much," Finn replied. "I've crossed fallen trees thinner than this. I'll be on the other side before you're even finished talking." Before the beaver could say another word, Finn stepped onto the bridge with a confident smile. The old wooden planks creaked beneath his paws, but he ignored the sound. He kept walking, convinced that nothing could go wrong. With every step, he imagined the delicious golden berries waiting just across the river. The gentle breeze suddenly became stronger, causing the bridge to sway from side to side. Finn paused for only a second before shaking his head. "It's just the wind," he whispered to himself. "I've come too far to turn back now." Halfway across the bridge, a loud crack echoed through the valley. One of the wooden planks split beneath Finn's feet. He quickly jumped forward, his heart racing. For the first time, fear replaced his confidence. Another step. Crack! A second plank broke apart and disappeared into the rushing river below. Finn looked down. The water crashed against large rocks, creating white waves that roared through the canyon. If he fell, the strong current would carry him far away. His breathing became faster. "I just need a few more steps," he told himself. But before he could move again, the old ropes holding the bridge snapped with a sharp, frightening sound. The entire bridge shook violently. Finn lost his balance. He slipped. For a terrifying moment, it felt as though the world had stopped. Just as he was about to fall into the river, he grabbed one of the hanging ropes with both paws. His body swung high above the rushing water. The cold wind pushed him back and forth while pieces of broken wood dropped into the river below. "Help!" Finn shouted with all his strength. His voice echoed across the forest. The old beaver immediately dropped his tools and rushed toward the river bank. Hearing Finn's cries, several nearby animals came running: a strong deer, two hard-working beavers, a family of rabbits, and an old owl who had been watching everything from a nearby tree. The beaver looked up at Finn and called calmly, "Don't panic. Hold on tightly. We'll get you down safely." The old beaver quickly looked around and came up with a plan. "We need a long vine," he shouted. Without wasting a second, the rabbits ran into the forest and returned with the strongest vines they could find. The deer tied the vines together while the beaver secured them around the trunk of a giant oak tree standing beside the river. High above the rushing water, Finn's paws were beginning to slip. His arms felt weak, and every passing second made it harder to hold on. "Oh, I can't hold much longer," Finn cried. "You can do it," the old owl called from a nearby branch. "Stay calm. Fear makes us weaker, but courage helps us think." The beaver carefully threw the long vine toward Finn. The first throw missed. The second throw came closer. On the third try, the vine landed within Finn's reach. Using the last bit of his strength, Finn stretched one paw toward it. For a moment, he almost lost his grip on the rope. Then, he caught the vine. "Pull!" shouted the beaver. Every animal leaned back with all their strength. The deer dug his hooves into the ground. The rabbits pulled together. The beavers tightened the knot around the tree. Slowly, very slowly, Finn began moving toward the riverbank. The broken bridge groaned one final time, before another section collapsed into the river with a thunderous splash. A few seconds later, Finn reached solid ground. He lay silently on the grass, breathing heavily as his heart pounded inside his chest. For several moments, nobody spoke. Finn slowly stood up and looked at the broken bridge behind him. If he had fallen just a few seconds earlier, the powerful river would have carried him away. He lowered his head. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I thought I knew everything. I ignored your warning because I wanted to prove I was smarter than everyone else." The old beaver smiled kindly.